Welcome to Better Said Than Written, the podcast that shares inspirational excerpts from books, essays, poems, and quotes that when read aloud just sounds better said than written. I'm your host, Tamika Cody. Today's story started as a journal entry, with me just trying to make sense of a moment. As I sat with my words, I felt something shift, like maybe they could hold space for someone else, even if I only had the courage to write them on a sheet of paper that were meant just for me. So what inspired me to share a sliver of my life with you? Actually, it's not a what, rather a who. You see, someone from my past, someone I didn't know, was in the hospital. I hadn't recorded anything yet because I wasn't sure how I felt, nor did I know how the outcome of the person in the hospital was going to turn out. But sitting with those uncertain feelings started to uncover something deeper. As I sat with all of this, the silence, the ache, the wondering, a single line by Hunter S. Thompson rose to the surface and stayed there, steady and sharp. You can't miss what you never had. It's simple, but it landed hard, because for the longest time, I thought I didn't care, until I realized I did. That's the space this story still lives in, but now it carries more weight. The other day, I received a text message from my sister. She said, "Our SD is in the hospital." I blinked, and I studied the two individual letters. SD? Who is SD? So I asked, and she hit me with it. Sperm donor. I laughed, like really laughed, because I knew exactly who she meant. Let me give you the backstory. We share the same father, different mothers who just so happen to be sisters. Yes, you heard that right. My aunt had a baby with the same man as my mother. Family gatherings? Complicated. My childhood? Don't even get me started. So when my sister shared the news, she noted that she didn't think I'd care, but she felt that I should know anyway. And the truth is, she was right. I texted back. Ha! What a way to start the morning. SD equals sperm donor. And you're right. I don't care. After I hit send, I sat with it, and something stirred. Not a full tear, but the warm up to one. Then came the anger. I told myself, fuck it. I never knew the man, never met the man. He didn't raise me, didn't show up. But still, I wondered how my sister was feeling. And she said she's forgiven him. She said she feels sad, but she's not even sure why because she didn't really know him either. It's strange, right? Catching feelings about someone who was never really there. Not grief, just the sting of what should have been. Then, several days later, my sister texted again. Girl, we are officially orphans. I know you don't care, but I still have to let you know. And even though I had already laughed at SD, even though I had already said I didn't care, this news hit different. Let me provide a little bit more context for you. Both of us lost our mothers young. We were in our early 20s. My sister, she was close with her mother. Me? Not so much. My mother didn't love me the way I needed to be loved. She didn't protect me the way a willing parent should. And I've always wondered if that non-existent bond had something to do with the betrayal of my father sleeping with my mother's sister, of secrets folded into silence, of pain passed down without ever being named. But all of that's another story for another time. The point is, my sister was right. We are officially orphans now, not because the loss is new, but because it's now complete. I thanked her for telling me. But what I really wanted to know was, how is she holding all of this? The grief, the past, the questions. She said she didn't know how to feel, that she had an opportunity to video call him while he was in the hospital, and the moment she saw him, she knew he wasn't going to make it. So she let go. And she did something I couldn't. She asked God to forgive him. I replied in a text, "Oh, wow, that's great that you got closure." But then came something I didn't expect. Jealousy. Not because she knew him well, because she didn't, but because they were in contact, because she had something, Because from where I sit, it looked like he made an effort with her. And me, I wouldn't have been able to pick the man out of a lineup. And that's when I realized I'm not grieving him. I'm grieving what I never got. I'm grieving the version of myself that might have existed if he'd shown up. If this hits home for you, please know that you are not alone. And if you're feeling confused about what to do with those emotions, the ones tied to people who didn't show up, who didn't stay, who didn't care, here's what I'll offer. You don't owe anyone your pain. You don't have to grieve someone just because they share your DNA. And you are allowed to feel and then let go. Forgiveness doesn't have to mean reunion. Closure doesn't have to come from them. Sometimes it comes from saying it out loud, naming it, and setting it down so it doesn't weigh you down anymore. That's how we move forward, not perfectly, but intentionally. And maybe that's the truth I've been circling all along, one that Hunter S. Thompson captured so clearly. You can't miss what you never had. Not grief, just noticing, just naming, just letting it go. And sometimes the simple act of naming it, of honoring it, is enough to begin the process. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Better Said Than Written. If this story resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. You'll find directions on how and where to share your thoughts in the show notes. Sometimes the hardest stories to tell are the ones we never expected to carry. But here we are, sharing them anyway. Until next time, keep listening, keep feeling, and keep saying what needs to be said.